All right, I'm just going to finish up a little bit more about inverse direct variations. Um, Again, just the most basic thing is direct is a constant times x, and inverse is like dividing pizza among people or $1,000 among the people riding in the RV. Okay, so these are just kind of a different style question, and there are one like this on the test, but it says suppose that x and y vary inversely. Okay, so once we see this, we can just say, well, it's a fixed amount k over x, right? So x and y are variables, and k stands for some number we don't know at the start of the question. Okay, so it says what function models this inverse variation. So to get the equation, we pretty much just got to figure out what k is. Okay, and so they give us this little factoid that x is 8 when y is 7. So if I put 7 here for y and 8 for x, well, then we have a little equation. We can say, oh, hey, if we just multiply both sides by 8, right, this is a divide 8, so multiply by 8, so we get 56 equals k. Okay, and that is our equation. All right, so basically our inverse variation equation, sorry I ran out of space there, is y equals 56 over x, right? And we knew it was a constant. Now we found that constant to be 56. Okay, and then on the test, sometimes they'll ask a follow-up question. So then, like, what is y when x is 2? Well, basically, now that we know that x is 2, right? So this is like we have two people. We have $56 and we split it up amongst two people, right? Then each person would get 28, I think. I did the math there, right? Okay, so y is 28 when x is 2. So it's kind of two parts. That's why I tried to cover it up so it wasn't super confusing. So get the direct variation equation or function first. I guess it's a function because it has two variables. And then answer the follow-up question. Okay, let's try one more like that. All right, so again, start off with, we know it's an inverse variation, so what is k? All right, I would pause the video and try it on your own before continuing. All right, so y is 4 when x is 5. So if we plug those in real quick, and then we can multiply both sides by 5, so we'll get 20 equals k. Again, this is a divide 5, so we're multiplying by 5. Okay, so now if I plug that back in, my inverse variation function or equation would be 20 over x. Y is equal to 20 divided by whatever x is. So then what is y when x is 3? Well, y is just going to be 20 over 3. Okay, and you could actually just leave it that way, right? Just put in the 3 and leave it as an improper fraction. If you want to do decimals, I believe that's like 8.67 or something like that. I want to check my math there. Yeah, that doesn't really seem right, does it? Maybe 6.67? Does that seem better? All right, I think that would be right. So there you go. That's it. So we answered both parts. So there's the function here, and then when x is 3, y is 6.67. Okay, so now the final thing is to do this in like a real life situation. And honestly, you can just kind of do what makes sense. I mean, I feel like we get so tied down in these equations, but like, you know, just think if it's inverse variation, it's just some fixed amount called k divided by x. Okay, and so this is a pizza party, and if 8 people come, they can have 4 slices of pizza. So let's write the inverse equation right away. So basically, like, you can, how many slices of pizza do we have? 8 people and they each get 4. Boom, that's 32. Right? So you could just do the equation kind of almost mentally, where 32 is our fixed number. Right? That's the constant k. And I got that by multiplying the 8 and the 4, right? You know, if you want to do the equation part, it would look like this, where you get 4 pieces of pizza, divide the total pizza by 8 people, and then you'd multiply both sides by 8. That's how you get the 32. Okay, but much like the previous, so these are basically these questions except with a context. Okay, so now we know, now if 2 more people come along, 2 more people say, hey, they want to join the party. Well, how much does each person get now? Well, then just basically make x 10. So we're going to say if there's 10 people, we'd have 32 over 10. So each person would get about like 3.2 pieces of pizza, right? So right around 3 pieces, all right? So let's try one more like that, and I would pause the video. And this is again a story from our real life. At one point, we thought about having a bachelor party at Procart, and they just had some. You could like rent the whole thing for an hour or two or something, and then we would divide it by however many people came. So um, I guess the hint to help you start here is the cost per person was going to be some fixed amount K divided by however many people go. All right, so you got to figure out that constant. So pause the video, give it a shot. Okay, so it says basically the cost will be $25 if 20 people go. So if I take the total cost for renting it divided by 20 people, I'll get $20. Well, if you multiply by 20 here, you'll get 500, right? So that's the constant, that's the how much it costs. 25, 20 people pay 25 each, that's 500. So my equation would be 500 over x. Okay, and then we can do just like the RV example. Let's say two people back out, they don't want to go now. Now our cost is different, right? Our cost per person now is going to be 500 divided by 18 instead of 20. So now the cost is going to go up. So we do 500 divided by 8. All right, so it was $25 for 20 people, but now if there's 18 people, it costs a little more, 27.78. Okay, and that is another property of like inverse variations. Like as the number of people goes up, the cost goes down. So like they vary, like one goes up and the other goes down. That's inverse. Okay, versus direct, they will like both go up or down together. Right, so I should have probably mentioned that, especially when I was talking about tables, but the direct variation, they'd both go up together, both go down together. So if we go back and look at our tables, um, like as games go up here, points go up, right? Versus the inverse variation example, as the number of people goes up, the cost goes down, right? So that's another way to think of it as inverse is like people is going up and the cost is going down. So they're opposite of each other. All right, that's all I got. Thank you for watching.